Good evening, all you wonderful people. Hope you've had a great day and you're ready to hang out and maybe watch me fail. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens. Anyways, it's Monster Train, and apparently my volume is way higher than it should be. We're doing Wyldenten as our current champion we're working on. We did Strangler last night, which is the one I was most worried about. We did have to use up Siren of the Sea, which is a little unfortunate, but it was necessary. And we didn't use up too many other important things. I mean, like, we used up some good stuff, like Awoken Rail Spike and Razor Sharp Edge and Helical, but that's within acceptable ranges. So, anyways, let's get into it. We need to figure out what pyre we're using. We still have Predator and Thornlord left. For Thornlord, I would say I want Heart of the Pact, but honestly don't know that that matters since we're going to be getting a bunch of extra draw with the Stings and Root Seeds. Pyre of Savagery, obviously pretty solid with Awoken. Feels a bit silly to take it, but I probably should still take it. And then obviously Herzl's Horde is quite good. I think we'll just take Herzl's and go from there. And we'll see what happens. So as a reminder, if Strangler shows up, we have to take whatever the other path is. And if not, then we get to choose. Okay. So we're up against Entropy. We do have the sweep unit, so it might be worth just taking Predator here. It's not my favorite sweep unit, but, like, honestly, this is a pretty decent start. Yeah, I guess we could take Predator here. And then see what happens. Yeah. Token of a Traitor, you say? I don't need Token of a Traitor. Although it is helpful if I'm trying to get... So, like, Token of a Traitor is still good. In that it allows me a way to try to get collectors. And also on the invasion trials, it's easier for me to kill off enemies. Without actually having to have a presence on the floor. Which is particularly valuable for the corruption enemies. I kind of just want Deepwood Oil, though, because I'm pretty weak on defense. But let's take Token of a Traitor. It is just, like, reasonably sort of helpful. Okay, so we're going to set up on bottom floor for a variety of reasons. Okay. Mainly, this will allow me to preserve more HP on all my other units. It also makes it kind of guaranteed that I get the Collector, which I appreciate. And we just go from there. Also, I have the Titan's Gratitude, so if I can get Spell Weakness on him, then that can be useful. So if I increase your HP to 24, it's not enough to change anything. So, that goes on Wyldenten instead. And because they so kindly got all the other dudes out of the way, we'll hit him with Titan's Gratitude and almost just kill him right off the bat. Like, he's already basically dead. And by that I mean he's definitely dead by the enemies, but he also had a little bit of Frostbite on him, so was also almost dead from the Frostbite. Either way, good first battle. Now, unfortunately, can't take Razor Sharp Edge, otherwise that's absolutely what I would take here. We also can't take Wildwood Sap, which I also would consider taking here, but can't. So, what the fuck am I gonna do? might be worth taking the Glimmer. I don't think I really need it right now, though, so we're going to skip that. I mean, it is healing, and that's the only reason I'm considering it, but it's not a lot of healing. Kind of like the idea of the Glacial Seal. Don't think we actually want it, though. It doesn't synergize particularly well with Predator. I don't want the Mollusk Mage, although it is decent with the Titan's Gratitude and the melee, or the spell weakness from Silophyte. Like, that might be a decent option for us just to get through, like, Archeon. You know what? I'll take it. I'm not wild about it in general, but I am somewhat worried about my situation. Okay. What I really would like is the Merchant of Arms. I think we're going to the Merchant of Magic looking for, like, Holdover Spell Chain, Steel Enhancer, or something like that. Just because I'm lacking on defense and I'm lacking on offense since I had to skip the Razor Sharp. And alternatively, I go here and I look for, like, Nameless Siren, which is also quite good. But I also am limited on how many Sirens I'm going to have across the 3 runs. I think we're going here, I guess. Okay. I'm willing to take Husk Hermit here, I think. I mean, I could also save it for Thornlord, though. Maybe I want to save it for Thornlord. I mean, ideally with Thornlord, we're not going to need, like, the Husk Hermit. And Husk Hermit doesn't work, like, particularly well with Predator, since you kill off most things before they get to attack. Nonetheless, it has higher HP than the Silophyte does, and it has built-in, like, offensive scaling to some degree, which will help against Archeon. I don't know, fuck it, we'll take it. I'm getting a little shenanigans here. Yeah, that's not what I was hoping for. Well, I thought about doing things with the Titan's Gratitude there, and maybe I should have, but I didn't. And thus, we just gotta live with that. I should actually probably have you on top floor, but that's fine. Yeah, not how I wanted that to go, but that's fine, I guess. That's why I should have had the Silophyte on top floor, but it's okay. Let's get rid of that, and let's start doing things. I'm pretty sure we want to be buffing your health as much as we can. Because the more health you have, the more you can get the revenge bonus comfortably. And I don't have any capacity to play off the Mollusk Mage, so that's a thing. Yeah, I was hoping that it would discard the shard, but whatever, fine. Well, almost got the kill. Unfortunately, if we do draw, like, the Titan's Gratitude on this coming turn, then he will have a damage shield. Although I do have Token of a Traitor, so I can knock that off if I need to. Ta-da! Yeah, Token of a Trader doing okay work for us. It's not an incredible artifact, but it is okay. Don't want to take the Sting right now. The Glimmer is a maybe, although I probably should have taken it before doing the Merchant of Magic. The Vine Grasp was kind of cute. Don't really want it right here, though. I also feel like I should go to the Merchant of Steel, but I really want to go to the Merchant of Arms. Alright, let's skip that. We're gonna skip that. I can't take the Helical, and I don't think we take another Titan's Gratitude. Maybe I should. It's a card I hate, but honestly, at this point, maybe worth it. God, if I skip on the Merchant of Steel right now, though, it's so long before we get another one. Like, I probably need to take that. It's just, I don't know what we're actually gonna get that's gonna be truly great. Fine. I mean, that's like pretty solid. Do I want the Animus? The problem is I have no way to buff my dudes, really. And I don't want to use up, like, every single unit available in the clan combo here. Ideally, what I want is like, Smidge Stone, Large Stone for the Husk Hermit. That is the thing that I want. Might still be worth taking the Animus, but also in the future, Wyldenten will just have 3 attacks. Like, because we are going Predator 3, so he's basically already going to be an Animus of Will. And the Animus of Will is not particularly impressive for us without some way to buff it up. Were this, like, banished, I could rely on seeing something like Everlasting Light, and that would still be useful to have across 2 multi-striking dudes. I could also just give the Animus a bit of attack, and that is fine. Fine, we'll take the Animus. I just don't know what I'm doing here. I do want that multi-strike, but I think what we're doing is we're just doing this, and then we're re-rolling to get HP or Large Stone. Definitely not what I was hoping for. I suppose I could also Endless you. God, I don't want to do it, but I will. Fine. I'm not wild about it, but there we go. Honestly, probably should have done the Incant Armor instead. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna be disappointed by this, but we're gonna do this anyways. If I had gotten, like, Spell Chain on that, I would be a lot less disappointed. Nonetheless, I don't feel great about my situation. Unfortunately, I can't fit Wyldenten there, but I think that's what we're doing, as much as I don't want to. It does kind of work out in that it gives you... Oh, I didn't mean to do that for some reason. Whatever. Anyways. It does mean that enemies are attacking into him without getting killed first, which is kind of nice. I'm going to do these on you, though, because you get way more benefit off of that. Anyways, my deck is a bit of a mess. Here we are. It's going to work fine for the moment, but I do have meaningful big problems long term. Unfortunately, you're not dying right now, and I don't have any way to get you killed on my own. We should just say just being at 2 HP sucks. Like, it's fine. We'll make it work, but it's not ideal. But having the Endless is a big, big help to us because we just play him out again right now. And he is monstrously powerful for our current needs. We're even avoiding the pyre damage. Yep, here we go. I mean, overall, this fight went well. I just don't, like, really have the scalability for the future. If you fail any of the 3 paths, you have to restart the whole champion, even if you completed a path previously. Yes, correct. Exactly. That is the whole point of the challenge. So, might take Unleash the Wildwood here. I think we're taking Unleash the Wildwood here. Yeah. Yeah. And then Lodestone Totem, you say. Huh. I mean, it's counter to everything we've set up so far. But it is good. And with Herzl's Horde, it is much easier for me to play out multiple Lodestone Totems. But I'm really not well set up to utilize it. And it's also not particularly great into Entropy anyways, since they've got the Ardents that buff enemies on Incant. Obviously there are ways around that, but still. I'm just gonna skip on that, I guess. And we're gonna take Capacity. Unfortunately, I would really like a Merchant of Arms. I guess we're going here. Even though I don't have a ton of gold. Alright, so now we have things. The Hall of Mirrors is not that helpful for me. Exile's Diadem is a maybe. Again, part of the issue, though, is like, yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to fit more units on the floor, but I don't have any way to, like, scale up my entire team. So having a bunch of Animuses or whatever doesn't really mean much, especially when I'm going to be getting sapped. So I need... It's just not that helpful. Like, obviously I could take Exile's Diadem here. Currently I've got 7 capacity. We already have the 1 capacity. Husk Hermit. Like, I can already fit Wyldenten, the Animus, and the Husk Hermit. Like, that already works. I could even put Mollusk Mage there, too, if I want. I think it just doesn't matter. I think I really need other things. So I might want to hold over Unleash the Wildwood. Kind of want to do the Steel Enhancer, though. And honestly, I don't, like, totally need Unleash the Wildwood. Since I do have Endless on the frontliner. I don't know, I'm still gonna do it, I guess. But, doesn't feel great. The multi-strike is honestly not that bad for us. Also, I have Quick, which is maybe not actually that helpful for me right now. We'll see. Okay, we're at least getting close to killing you. Unfortunately, the sap is pretty bad for us. But at least a couple of the weaker attacks power him up a little bit. That's something. I was hoping that I get both Titan's Gratitudes, but okay. Yeah, you're escaping no matter what. So I'm just gonna take some fire damage, which is more or less fine. I got HP. That's not the worst. Okay. Well. Yeah, I guess let's not get more corruption. We should be fine against him, especially since we've got Endless, so we can just pull out the Husk Hermit on the next floor as well. And if need be, even on the floor above that. Oh, that's actually way worse. Yeah, I should have done that differently. Oh well. Alright, well we got the kill. Awkward as hell that what may have been. Again, our deck is not good currently. But we're working on it. Honestly, the Cycle of Life is pretty okay for us. Kind of. It's really not what I want to do, but I will take it. We are not going to take those. I can't take Drain. I'm not taking Disregard, and we're not taking Frenzied Swarm. We're going here. I mean, like, the Merchant of Magic is also pretty useful for me. In that I could, like, minus cost the Cycle of Life. I could look for Spell Chain on, like, the Steel Enhancers. Like, honestly, that's not the worst. But I would like to go here, look for things. Like, honestly, I would take Glass Cannon at this point. I would take Bloodthirsty Blade. Those are the main two I would take. I mean, I would take Fight Club too, I guess. But we'll see. Again, not what I want. Can't take the Siren. Could take the Offering Monument. And I do have the capacity for it. Honestly, I'll take an Offering Monument, I guess. Overgrowth Carapace, I hadn't even considered. Well, the problem is that with the Offering Monument, I now wouldn't have any extra capacity. If I did have extra capacity, though, with the Smidgestone already on the Husk Hermit. Okay, that was a very unhelpful text message, but there we go. Anyways, I could potentially put the Overgrowth Carapace on the Husk Hermit, since with the Smidgestone, it will just get the +20/+20 each turn without actually growing in size. If I had taken Exile's Diadem for Wyldenten, that would be a lot more helpful. I still maybe want to do that. The problem is, what I would really like to do that is to do it on like the Animus or Wyldenten, who actually have multi-strike and all that jazz. But the Overgrowth Carapace could be decent for me. Could also take the Weapons Cache if I wanted. Okay, let's get greedy. And then let's remove some things from the deck. Good evening, tough challenge you've been working on. Yeah, a lot of it hasn't been too bad, but there are definitely situations like this where things are not looking particularly great for us. I mean, it still works. I only have one equipment to pull out. Now, I do want the Offering Monument, but I think at the moment it's more important for us not to have it up. Like, I think it's more important that our dude gains the stats. God, I just have such poor... I have such poor scaling. At least I'm having multi-strike and doing small damage. It means that he scales up faster. So, like, I could try to get Token Trader to hit that. It's unlikely. Let's try it. Yeah, it didn't work out. Should have done that differently. That's fine. I am going to take some Pyre damage. Don't love it, but whatever. Pyre health is... It exists to be lost. I probably shouldn't do it like that. Yeah, let's not. I think getting sapped that much is just really not worth it. I do think that's worth doing, though. And then I think we just bulk up here a little bit. And we get some extra draw for next turn. Especially because the extra draw is actually very useful for me, since I have so many, like, steel enhancers. That I have plenty of, you know, low-cost draw to make use of. Yeah, let's just I should have done that opposite. I should have played the Foregone Power first. But I didn't. That's fine. Also, the Unleash the Wildwood barely does anything here. I will play that there just to let him die. Alright, well, our dude is certainly a lot spookier thanks to the Overgrowth Carapace. Ta-da! Alright, well, it's working out. We did take some damage, and I do still have problems. I really wish I could do the Overgrowth Carapace on the Animus. But unfortunately, without getting Firestone housing, I don't have any way to give it Smidgestone. Don't want the Channel Song. Don't want any of those. Don't want those. Okay. So if we go to the left, it would basically be to look for upgrades for the Offering Monument, just like HP and Incant Armor, which is not bad. If we go to the right here, I don't know. We might be able to get something we care about from the Armory. We might be able to get like Emblem of the Exiles, which would be helpful. Or the aforementioned Firestone housing would be very nice, although I don't get another Merchant of Steel till the very end. Still, let's go here, I guess, and see what happens. It's the wrong one. Again, not wildly helpful. Technically, I could take Iron Tongue to give to, like, Wyldenten, which is a little bit of an attack increase. Although I don't remember if his attack goes up at Predator 3. Yeah, it goes up to 25. Still be an increase in attack. And it would protect from the sap from Seraph, which might be nice. And partly I'm considering it because we get it for free thanks to the weapons cache. It's pretty underwhelming all told, though. But honestly, fuck it. Technically, Priory's Cloak is useful for me if I actually start using the Unleash the Wildwood. Don't think it's that helpful, though. Not helpful. Not helpful. Yeah, I mean, we'll take Jack Strips. It's not that helpful for me right now, but it's still kind of nice. Now, can we beat Kale? I think so? Come on. I'm trying to put my unit down, but because it just keeps... When it puts the card in hand, it fucks with where my cursor is and what it's targeting. In an unhelpful way. Alright, whatever. Here we are. Okay, there's the unhelpful corruption, but if he ever does die, then he has Endless anyway, so that's something. We're just gonna do that for the extra draw next turn. This is certainly not the most elegant deck by any means. But it is sort of working. And isn't that really all we can ask for? Yeah, good job, Foregone Powers. Although I probably should have done them on the mid floor so I could have gotten the extra draw. It's jank, elegance is not in the vocab. I mean, you're not altogether wrong. It is more or less within expectations. It's just like, it's way more awkward than I was hoping for it to be, but again, this is sort of the whole point of the challenge, is that it forces me into dumb situations like this. Because again, there's like a way better deck that we could have built. We didn't build that deck, but we could have. At least the Overgrowth Carapace is doing some solid work for us, I will say. Sorry, Maul's Mage. Your time has come. Alright, unsurprisingly, we have it, just because it turns out a lot of HP helps us stall for a good long while. And we have, like, decent levels of attack now. Not, to be clear, not strong levels of attack, but decent levels of attack. And here we are. No. Kind of want the Siren Song, honestly, though, but we're going to skip on that. And we're going to take Capacity, I guess. I mean, I think we go to the Merchant of Magic here. I think that's just the better play. Remove Consume is not helpful. If we had the -2 here, I would happily do that on the Cycle of Life, but sadly we don't. I guess we're gonna do this because it helps us avoid a bad turn 1. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Not a good Merchant of Magic. Not helpful. Fine. I'm not wild about that in any way, shape, or form, but here we are. So, let's get rid of some things. Specifically, we're going to get rid of some of these. And that's what we got. Look at us go. Well, this is partly why we took Jack Strips. We are likely going to leak a bunch, though, and I'm not terribly happy about that, but we'll see what we can do. I maybe need to set up on mid-floor, but we're going to see what this looks like. Yep, we are far away from killing you, but okay. But they at least die. And you know, thankfully it's not Heaven Seal. Like, at least they're not healing. That is some small mercy. Well, we tried. Again, unfortunately, because of the quick, I'm not benefiting from the revenge trigger all that much. So, like, I am missing out on a lot of power that I otherwise should have. Well, we don't get the collector, which is sad. I probably should have done a single root seeds on mid forward for that. But I didn't. We're just trying to reduce how much damage I'm taking. The bleed out, it is occurring, and it is bad. I mean, I don't need all that much HP to make it through, though. Oof. It is not good. Unhelpful. But yeah, maybe should have set up on mid for... Oh god, that's real bad. Well, at least we can kill you. And then it's Rax. Which, at least we kill Rex, that's something. Yeah, we're not killing you, so I take the amalgam damage either way. Yeah, that was really bad. This is exactly what I've been afraid of. Do I take Restoring Retreat? Wasn't going to, but maybe technically it helps. I think we're still not going to take it, though. I think we're not going to take that. I'm going to skip on those, though. I feel like maybe we should take the Frenzied Swarm. I was going to go Merchant of Arms, but honestly, I might just want the healing. I don't know, I think probably we go here. Alright. Please give me Pyrestone Housing. No. Yeah, so we don't need a tuned whetstone. That doesn't change anything for us. Cuddlebeard, technically, we can apply some Frostbite, not in any way that I really care about. Not wildly helpful. I mean, I still take that, I guess, because I think it pays itself off, even though just really not helpful. Okay, this is gonna look silly. Oh, I did fail to consider Titanite in my plans. I mean, it's fine. I couldn't really have done that either way. Well, here we are. We'll see what happens. Okay. Don't actually want you to be endlessing right now. But hey, here we are. Okay, so that's why we put Intrinsic on the cycle button. So it wouldn't just die on turn 1 right off the bat. Again, I have, like, fuck all for offense, which is a problem. But hey. At least Jackstrips is killing a bunch of these guys and stuff and things and all that. Also, I probably should have done Incant Armor on this, and I totally spaced out. And that was a bad choice on my part, but hey. God, the one thing I didn't want it to hit. I was hoping that my discards would at least get rid of some of the curses for me. And like, yeah, I don't have to play out all of them, but still. Yeah, I can't do that. I need to... Like, yes, he's got Endless on him, but I don't want him to die and lose the Overgrowth Carapace. Well, I was hoping he was going to get rid of that, but hey. Oh, and you are surviving at this rate. That's actually not acceptable. Need to be paying better attention to this. Because either I need to not incant you at all, or I need to ensure that I'm killing you. Actually, let's do this slightly differently. Because for some reason I had failed to account for the fact that I have enough Ember to just play out all of these spells, basically. Oh, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm one short. Yeah, I see how this happens. Anyway, that's fine. We still kill him. That's the important part. I don't love having to take the sap. Oh, well. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't love you. Because I'm really not strong enough to, like, kill off this guy next turn. I'm in, like, bad shape, I'll be very clear. Because I can't really afford to, like, be buffing these guys up. And unfortunately, there's just Ardents in every wave from here on out, basically. And that's an issue. Well, I was hoping to get rid of that, but hey. I mean, maybe I just need to not be playing out all of those. We'll see. Hey, thanks for the follow, or the raid, excuse me. I really appreciate it. I do so little damage thanks to everything. Yeah, I think I'm pretty fucked. I really did not make the best deck for this. Like, the heavies are really killing me. It might be doable if I just, like, skip on all of the sap. So I was trying to avoid. Let's see how that looks. I mean, overall, it's not going great. It's not going great. Could maybe set up on bottom floor. Wyldenten pain. I mean, yeah, this is more or less what I expected. I could also do, like, the overgrowth carapace on the Animus for a bit. That's not great in a number of ways, though. But it would give me scaling, which I badly need. And I had considered it. Like, we're gonna try this. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna go with the alternate plan. Okay, so we need the weapons cache, and we play you out, and then we play you out, and then you get the overgrowth carapace. You're going on bottom floor. This is what we got. I will play this every turn just for the healing, if nothing else. Although I should play down mid-floor so I'd get the things, the extra card draw. We've had the most mega fuck Banish Under Legion run, and I think we had to restart Sarah maybe 10 times. Fair enough. Okay. Oh, I'm not happy with my choices in life. Okay. Well, let's do that for the healing. And then do I want the sap or no? I think I don't. I think I'm willing to just take the damage. Titans went down mega quick though. Yeah, I mean, Titans are generally not the real problem. Unfortunately, you do 0 damage, but this is why Wyldenten has the Iron Tongue. It is more or less the entire point of the situation. Well, fine. Didn't love that. That's not great looking, though. Maybe I actually just want to let him die. I think I probably do. Because I don't need him to kill this guy this turn. I think we just want to do that. So because then I avoid buffing the enemies. I've already done that more than I'm comfortable with, sadly, but hey. At least our gigantic Animus is doing some work. Unfortunately, it's not enough work. Yeah, like, I can do that, but it doesn't actually change how much higher damage I'm taking. At least it's only 1 hit, but that's still a lot more than I wanted. Ugh. And, like, I'm nowhere near killing Entropy right here, sadly. Yeah, and I'm not, like, we're super fucked. We're definitely dying. It's fine. We'll let this die. Unfortunately, it means that I have to start Wyldenten over again. But this is what I was talking about, being worried about having, like, no damage scaling. It's just, like, it doesn't matter if I have, you know, a ton of attacks if I can't actually do anything with those attacks. Had I thought about it, probably should have put the Smidge Stone on the Animus. I wasn't really planning on scaling via Overgrowth Carapace, though. And so I couldn't really have known at the time. But, like, had I thought about it, we could have then, like, grabbed the Overgrowth Carapace, and we could have duped the Overgrowth Carapace and the Animus. And that would have put us in a much better, stronger position. Because then we'd be getting just a much better world. But regardless, we'll just let it die. I don't think there's any way for me to salvage this. If I could get past Seraph with a reasonable HP, we could probably beat the Titans, but nope. Alas. What's the hat trick challenge? Give me one moment to explain. So, the idea of the hat trick challenge, it's a community made up challenge back from Monster Train 1. You pick a champion and a clan combo, and then you have to do 3 wins back to back to back, each run using a different one of their champion paths. So for instance, we were just doing Wyldenten, we had already done Strangler, we were working on Predator, and any cards that are used in one of the winning runs cannot be used in the subsequent runs. So you have to budget the cards from the clan combo across all 3 runs. So that's how we arrived at that situation where we had no damage scaling for our team, basically, because I had already used up Razor Sharp Edge, and I failed to see the other things that I wanted, and I couldn't take Siren to the Sea because we already used that in the first run, and there we go. So, unfortunately, we lost with Wyldenten, so let's pick a different champion to work on. Where is that? I really need to organize these. Okay, I don't want to do Wyldenten again. Not right now, at least. So, and I don't really want to do Lion's Mane yet. So I think we're doing either Prince again, or Primordium, or Fade. Primordium. I mean, we can do Primordium. I'm not sure who I want to combine Primordium with. If the third path does not offer at the start of the run, do you just reset until you get it? Yes. Correct. On the second run, if we're offered the path we already took, and then we have to take whatever the other one is. If on the third run we've only seen the 2 that we already have, then we just have to reset until we get it. Yeah, let's do Primordium. That said, who do we want to do Primordium with? So, like, Primordium is fairly adaptable. It's just a strong champion in a lot of different ways. Ideally, it goes with a clan that has sweep units, which mostly means Awoken or Stygian. Doesn't have to be, though. Could also get sweep units from other clans. Also doesn't, frankly, have to be a sweep unit. Like, especially when using Superfood, we can also potentially just get a bunch of Multi-Strike off of Furnace Tap or one of the Multi-Strike equipment. Like, if we're doing Banish, we could get the Cursed Twinblade, or we could always get, like, Void Armament or things like that. With Superfood, we could also pass on Sweep with Iron Tongue, which is also an option. We wouldn't be able to buff Primordium's attack a whole ton, but that might still be fine. But we also need it to be a clan that can give meaningful stat gains to Primordium. Especially because, like, Stalwart Snack, it has to be actual attack gains. Can't be statuses. Like, we can't stack a Rage on Stalwart Snack and have it do anything. It being 10-10 is fine, and, you know, we still use equipment to pass on some extra attack or HP or whatever. But, not sure what we want for this. I do think Primordium is one of the champions that sort of suffers from this challenge, because it's overall good, but when you have to like start budgeting things across 3 runs, it gets a lot more awkward. Also, Primordium does benefit somewhat from being able to cross path, like taking 1 rank of Superfood and like 2 ranks of Stalwart Snack, for instance. Anyways, I don't really want to do Awoken, though it does sort of fit the bill. It's got a number of good units to feed onto, and that we do have like Animus of Will, we've got the 2 sweep units, we've got also a couple like stat buffs in Razor Sharp Edge and why am I blanking on the name of it? Steel Enhancer, and even things like Cycle of Life. I mean, Awoken does seem like the best option, even if it fills me with great despair. Alright, we'll do Awoken. It also means that we can start with a Root Siege, which are not, like, incredible in Monster Train 2, but again, it is an attack buff, which is something. As far as Pyre, what are we starting with? Honestly, Time Father is pretty decent for one of these. Bogworm's Growth doesn't really matter. Herzl's Horde is good. I think we want Aquaths for one of these. Honestly, Winged Spirit is maybe kind of technically okay for us. Let's just start with Aquaths, see what happens. Okay. So what are we offered? Superfood or aggressive edible? I kind of lean towards aggressive edible. The problem is that Animus of Will, like 3 attacks is not going to be enough. So we'd still have to get like multi-strike on the Animus, or we need to get trample, or we need to get some other way to deal with some things. Of note, we are up against Savagery Seraph, which is also not wildly great for us. Alternatively, we could do Superfood, which does allow us to get damage shields to start with, which is decently nice into Savagery since it's got the sweep units. And that is vaguely helpful. It also helps protect against the melee weakness. But I think either way we're going to have problems. I just don't have enough attack to deal with the early waves. I mean, it's fine if we leak a little bit. That's not the end of the world. Yeah, I'll take Superfood, I guess. It's not really what I want to do here, but that's fine. I mean, Vola's is not bad when we've got the Root Seeds. I do like Artificial Pyre Stone, but I don't know that we actually need it here. Yeah, I'll take Vola's Tuning Fork, I guess. Okay, so, Animus, Primordium, some other losers. There we go. And then you take a tiny bit of damage, who cares? Alright, don't let me down. How exciting. Good job, Plinks. Yeah, I think I just want that. Then we easily play out the Vengeful Shards. How exciting. I was kind of hoping to get more root seeds for Primordium before he had been eaten, but fine. Superfood first. Yeah, we're doing it for reasons. It's not explicitly what I wanted to do, but it works. Honestly, I'm just going to let the morsel cycle. So we can maybe feed them to the Animus. Not totally what I wanted to do, but it's fine. Yeah, honestly, I'd rather keep the damage shield. Although here, I would rather get the actual attack buff. I mean, we should be fine, I think. Like, the Animus represents, like, 150 per round already. And Yoriel, not that dangerous after his rage is dissipated. And then we easily just kind of shoot him to death. Okay. Well, there's perils. I do feel obligated to take perils. Could take the Sharpen. Not gonna take the Sharpen. So I kind of want to go here and then into the Merchant of Arms next. Hello, Glacier. How you doing, friend? Yeah, let's do that. Honestly, the damage shields here is not unwelcome, kind of. Definitely not taking those. I don't know. It's not really what I want, though. How did Wyldenten work out? Unfortunately, I lost with Predator because I made a deck that had, like, no damage scaling. We had some sort of decent things, but it just wasn't enough. Yep, unfortunately, we're going to have to do Wyldenten again later, which is sad. Was it a limited draw issue? So, the problem is that because we had already used up, like, Razor Sharp Edge in the first run, and I'd already used up the Siren of the Sea, I didn't have a whole ton of ways to scale my damage, and I whiffed on the ones I was hoping to see, and made some bad choices. And so we got through the early game, which I was worried about. Should have been more worried about the late game. Didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, and it's unfortunate. There was a way that I could have built differently that would have worked out. Didn't occur to me at the time, unfortunately. As for what I'm doing here, let's take the reroll, I guess. Okay. Unfortunately, I am just slightly off on the gold. Because I'm 10 short of also taking Quick, which I would like to take. Oh well. We're not doing that for now. We'll see what happens. I think right now just getting the multi-strike is helpful. I do have other problems to deal with. But we'll see what happens. Okay. Don't hate that. Also, poor Aquaths has been worthless so far. There are ways for it to not be worthless in the future, but so far, ain't doing a whole lot for us. Honestly, we'll just play that out. Come on, pick up the card. There we go. Oh, how are you doing, by the way, Glacier? This is a lot of morsels. Yeah, I guess we'll just play that one out for now. I could have blocked with the damage shield one, but I chose not to. Sure, we'll do that. It barely matters, he just dying to the spikes almost instantly, but I didn't really want to Ember Drain myself next turn. I guess it doesn't really matter, because I have Aquats, and I can still just use that. Also, almost all of my cards cost nothing. Thanks to Bolas and the fact that I've basically not drafted anything yet. Oh, again, this is part of why Aquats can be annoying, because it just hasn't mattered yet, and there's a good chance it's not going to matter all that much. If we'd gotten Prismal Dust here, that would be a different story, but we didn't. Which is unfortunate. I was hoping to see Prismal Dust. There are other things we can see, though, that would be very helpful. Space Prism is not helpful. Mind Collapse is okay helpful, but we're not going to take it. I maybe should, though. And I'm not going to take those. Alright, we're going to the Merchant of Arms, and we're looking for a variety of different things. So, Awakening Thicket is kind of cute with Primordium, because it does give max health, and then he passes on the max health, and that's kind of cute. Inferno Room is sort of an out for us. Although I would be taking a bunch of Amalgam damage, which is maybe still fine. But I think we're gonna just not do that. Okay, so Steel Dagger is a reasonable pickup, though it doesn't solve my first turn problem. And Overgrowth Carapace is also pretty cute. But I think, if anything, we'd prefer to save Overgrowth Carapace for a different Primordium. Specifically, Stalwart Snack. Obviously, we don't know if we're going to be offered it with Stalwart Snack, but whatever, here we are. Do that. Yeah, we definitely want the Lazarus here. Yeah, so Electricity Chamber is kind of cute, but we definitely want Spike of the League. That is why we took this. And that does also work well with Aquats. That said, we do need to hit certain things and yada yada yada, but overall, we're in, like, pretty good shape. I do need to make sure that I'm not setting up on top floor, which is to say I need to bait Archeon up top so that I can do that. Yeah, we'll just do it this way. I could have just taken the damage, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. But I could also just not. Anyways, we're going to use Aquats finally, and then 5 Reanimate, and now he's passing on 5 Reanimate a turn. Also, we have Quick now, thanks to passing on the Quick from the Dagger. If I wanted to avoid being knocked back, I could just block with a morsel. I'm not going to, because Primordium's going to be eaten next turn anyways. And so it doesn't really change anything. Okay, and we don't want to sap ourselves here because then the sap will get passed on. And that's just not great. Just not wildly exciting. But that's okay. We're doing fine. Our Animus has a reasonable amount of attack and has 15 reanimate, and it's looking pretty good. Oh, I should have done the blink there instead. Oh well. Alright, takes a little bit of damage on the spikes, takes a little bit of damage from Archeon. Again, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not particularly worried about the situation. I should have played the root seeds on my top floor, but again, it doesn't matter. We pretty cleanly have the kill here. Again, we do need to be way stronger than this in the future, but at the moment, it's okay. I mean, I maybe sort of technically could use the Shroud Spike. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, but it does maybe work for me. I don't really want to do it, but that might be worth it. The problem is, like, even if I do that, I also need a way to generate morsels. Fine, I'll take it, I guess. I don't know. Here. I could kind of take the Animus of Speed as a way to ping off some of the backliners, but we're not going to worry about that, even though maybe I should. I think we want Draw. Ember is also sort of nice. Take Draw for now. Alright, have a nice night, Fury. Thanks for being here. Alright, let's go here, I guess. Okay, so now he starts with damage shields. I could take Wilting Sapwood. Not wild about it. I think we're gonna not, even though it might be useful. I guess let's try that. I kind of want to do this, but I wouldn't have enough for the reroll if I do that. And I think I'd prefer to do the reroll. Yeah, that's not exactly what I wanted. Okay. Less exciting than I had hoped, but fine. We'll just save our gold. And as much as I would like to set up on bottom floor, I kind of have to set up on mid, especially since I gave them... since they have the prayer stones. Although I may have just gotten myself killed by doing that. Yeah, kind of forgot about this whole mess. That my dude has no HP. Yeah, that was a mistake. and is among the reasons that I really wanted to get intrinsic. That's a problem. Okay, so I sort of kind of have a little bit of an out for this that looks really bad. Because, in the dumb, awkward way, I can pull him forward, so then my Animus has something else to attack into. It does not solve my problems, but here we are. Unfortunately, the damage shields get eaten, so then they're not getting passed on, but at least I don't have 0 attack now. Or 0 HP. Those are not the morsels I was hoping for. That's better. Yeah, like, this causes issues, but... It is what it is. Unfortunately, I got you sapped, which means you're passing on the sap, which is not good. And maybe not worth doing those last things, but I was trying to reduce how much damage I was taking. Yeah, it's not enough. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna take a lot of damage. And sadly, I'm not strong enough to kill off all the Scourge dudes like this. Okay. Well, I am still going to take some damage because reasons. Namely, I left myself unable to play those, but whatever, fine. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have done the perils, but I was hoping that it was going to be enough. And it wasn't. And you have quick, so you're going to kill them first. Oh, you are dying this turn, so I can safely do the perils there. Okay, bit of a mess of a battle, but, you know, I'm paying the price of my sins. It doesn't matter, I still have to take the damage no matter what. I can get more morsels, though. Oh, I do actually have extra Ember. I thought I was still Ember drained, but that's fine, whatever. We took a chunk of damage, wasn't great. This is among the problems that I'm worried about. We don't want cannibalized. Gem Trove is sort of an option, but we're not going to take it. Engraft is sort of an option, but I think we're just not going to. Again, I need way better damage scaling. I guess we're going here. I mean, I don't really want to have to use Fight Club, but I will take Fight Club if that's the best I got. Okay, so this at least gets better in a number of ways. Okay, so I think we are doing this. It's not entirely what I wanted, because I also kind of want to do the Shroud Spike, but the problem with the Shroud Spike is I need a morsel to eat. And I think we're basically just going to have to eat the amalgam damage as much as that saddens me. Whatever, here we are. Wax and Spike would be kind of cute. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Oh, it is kind of cute that we're offered both the rare draft event and the spike event in the same run, since they're two different ways to get the spikes. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to do it this way and swap the two. Okay, we do have the packed morsels, though. Which means that I can actually avoid the corruption. Which is more or less what I was trying to do. Oops, there we go. Okay, well, we're in better shape than I had expected to be. And then, let's give you 14 reanimate, and there we go. Like, it's sort of okay if we get corruption on our dude. It's not the end of the world. I was just trying to avoid getting corruption passed on if I could avoid it. Since once Primordium has some corruption on, he will give corruption every turn to the Animus. Again, not actually that big a deal, but, you know, I kind of wanted to avoid it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter where I use that. It doesn't change anything. Okay. But we do have some damage shields getting passed on. Oh, I actually do need to do those on you. Fortunately, I can't kill you in any way, which is frustrating. Okay, let's do this correctly. Because it doesn't actually help to do the perils on Primordium this turn, because this is last turn. So we get better benefit of just doing that there. Unfortunately, it still doesn't really matter. Okay, so we are still leaking an enemy no matter what. And I sadly can't get the Collector, which does fill me with great and terrible despair. And we're just going to have to live with that. Had I thought about it last turn, I could have avoided that damage. But I didn't even consider it. Oh well. It's fine. We can afford to lose some life. I'm more mad that I didn't get the Collector, but so be it. To be fair, I'm most mad that I lost with Wyldenten. Overall, we're in real good shape for this boss at least. Like, we do decent damage, and also, he might end up with 20 corruption, not corruption, reanimate at top floor. But I already have 42 reanimate. He's got nothing on me. Also, unfortunately, the Shroud Spike, because I used up all my morsels already, not helpful. Technically, if the Plinks had cooperated, we could have done that, but they did not. Alright, well, he's super dead. Doesn't matter that he has 20 reanimate. We get 4 attacks per round. And we still have buckets of reanimate even with the losing 2 per turn between his attack and the corruption that we have on us. Doesn't matter. Again, not a clean fight, still took some damage, but it wasn't a lot of damage. Technically the cave-in might be helpful for dodging the amalgam damage. Mostly, I think it's just not what we want. So I still haven't given 1 upgrade to my dude. But I think we're going here. Okay, Bloodthirsty Blade is an option. I think that's not what we want, though. Maybe. Probably. I mean, it's okay. It's just, I don't have, like, a ton of time to stack it up. So maybe that's good enough. Again, like, I'm worried about going into Savagery just because there's huge bulk for me to get through. And you know what? Maybe that is what we want. Fine. I don't really want the glass cannon, and I'm not taking Stasis Crystal. The glass cannon sort of works. I was hoping for, like, Iron Tongue, honestly. But, fine. I also wanted Fight Club here. We're taking the Bloodthirsty Blade for deployable, though, for reasons. And then I guess we're duping that, and I really need to start removing cards. Stasis Superfood, lol. I mean, there's a lot of people who did it following the Lost Arsenal update without realizing how it would work. There was a number of people who were pretty mad about it. Even though the interaction is, like, fairly clear, I think. I do think we actually want to be on top floor. But yeah, don't stasis Primordium. Generally not what you want to be doing. At least specifically, don't do it with Superfood. I actually should have left one of those morsels kicking around the deck, but I didn't. Yep, this is not the turn that we wanted. Damn it. I was hoping we'd get the morsel there. And unfortunately, we didn't get the perils before when it was actually relevant for Primordium, but that's okay. Only other alternative I could imagine how it would work is that you cannot feast on stasis food, you cannot eat food if it's behind the door of the fridge in the end. Yeah, I mean, I do understand that, like, view of it, but like, everything else still works in stasis. Like, triggers still work in stasis, as you can see from the way that Soul Guard works in the first place. Otherwise, he couldn't get the incant trigger, and, you know, other triggers would also still not work. Anyways, point is, there's a sense to why it works the way that it does. And it's consistent with how it's always worked. Some people also tried to make the argument of like, well, I thought that they would also get the ability so that they'd have a way to unphase, like come out of stasis. But again, there's not really any basis on why that would be the case. But whatever. Anyways, our Animus is now a beast. We got plenty of reanimate. We got a little bit of damage shield still. And now we can just stack up the Bloodthirsty Blade, which will help us in the future. Again, it would have been much better if we'd gotten it earlier, but that's okay. We basically just don't want to kill any enemies with anything other than the Animus. So long as there are no more than 4 enemies on the floor, we just want to leave them be so that the Animus can stack up the Bloodthirsty Blade. Like, we have more than enough defense here. We have plenty of offense. Our only major concern at this moment is preparing for the future. As an aside, definitely would have appreciated Bloodthirsty Blade on the Wyldenten run. But alas, I'm paying for my sins. We'll just play him out so he dies. Doesn't really matter. Okay, and then the morsels are still kindly alive for us to kill right here. Giving us 3 more targets to kill. And then we just easily slaughter Kale. Okay. We are not taking Shroud Mitosis. We are not taking Blazing Bolts. We could take Wretch, but we're not going to take Wretch. We're not going to take Wretch. And that's already up to 30, which is pretty decent. I think we're taking Draw. We might want Ember, though, for extra deployment Ember. Is Wretch no longer a card that's both a noun and an adjective? What? I will say, they finally made the change that I wanted to, Reg. It's no longer on screen, but... like, I've been nagging for this change for literal years at this point, but they finally changed it so that Reg no longer puts excess morsels on top of your deck. Which, again, there was no indication on the card that that's how it should work, and that is inconsistent with every other effect in the game. So, who knows why that is how it was designed in the first place. But, yeah, they finally changed it so that it doesn't ruin the rest of your deck. Anyways, I actually might want Ember here. Because, as is, I'm like right on the edge of my deployment Ember. Specifically, if I make the Fight Club deployable. And if I take Ember now, then it means that if I can make the Fight Club deployable, I still have room to, like, take another equipment and fuse it with a Swift Steel Dagger if I want. So I think that's what we're doing. I don't really have anything to Merchant of Magic at this point. I kind of wanted to intrinsic this, but I'd also then have to intrinsic, like, a morsel generation thing. I think we're happy to just go here and look for something. Yeah, let's get rid of the Plinks now. They've served their purpose. Now, here's the question. Do we want the damage shields? Maybe. It's either that or I reroll for quick or multi-strike. I mean, large stone is also sort of okay. But yeah, let's reroll. Okay, so like if I do this, then it means we don't need to use the Swift Steel Dagger, which is sort of nice. I could also honestly just take the extra attack, since it does represent a good chunk of extra damage. Fine, I'll do that. Not entirely sure how we're going to get through the things that we need to deal with, but we'll figure it out. I don't remember what the starting waves look like, but we're going to set up on mid-floor, I guess, even though that causes some issues. Namely, that I have to deal with all of the Scourge-generating enemies. And that's a lot of reanimate, which is a problem. I'm just going to do that for 10 right now. Just in case we want to use it with the Shroud Spike. I don't think we are going to want it with the Shroud Spike, but maybe. Okay, we'll do it like that, I guess. We are going to have to leak some enemies. I knew that taking the reanimate on enemies was a problem, but hey. God, even that's not enough. Okay. God, that won't kill either. I mean, that is a waste. So that kills there. Alright, so be it. Don't have enough attacks to deal with these things, or quite enough attack. Enough damage. Yep. This is why we wanted to be dealing with the Scourge dudes. Oh god, yeah. Well, maybe I did need to be on top floor, not mid. Or maybe I just suck it up and I live on bottom floor. This is not good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that this is within acceptable ranges. I think we might lose. I mean, we maybe just want to step on bottom floor. I don't know. The problem is mostly in terms of we're really struggling to kill anything. Specifically, we're struggling to kill these Scourge dudes, which are the true bane of my existence. Yes, like I can pull you forward, but it doesn't actually prevent me from taking any Scourges. At least not this turn. Yeah, this is not great. Yeah. Oh, this is at least a useful turn. Oh, slightly wrong. I forgot to use Aquas's. So we'd get the extra Ember. I mean, we could also just not play out the Scourge cards. Like, that's not the end of the world if it prevents me from taking damage in the future. But we'll try it like this, see how it looks, I guess. Yeah, so I could have done it 2 more times. Unfortunately, it's the lifesteal morsel and not just a straight-up damage morsel. So it does give a lot less attack. I get tons of lifesteal, which I don't care about in the slightest, but hey. Yeah, the copious reanimate is ruining my life. And again, I did do it to myself. This is a known problem, but I do maybe just lose on this fight because of my choices. Which is something I should have considered more. Because this is exactly the sort of fight that I was worried about, but... I guess I finally got to a point where I can kill these guys in a single blow. But I'm still taking just tons of damage. I think I just lose on this turn, which is fine. If we lose here, we lose here. I made a bad deck, and we're paying for sins. Yeah, because they just killed me right there. Yeah. Alright, well, my bad. Really should have considered the whole... enemies having reanimate is bad when I'm already struggling with having enough attacks for things. But I didn't even consider it. I was running on autopilot. I'm so used to just like taking every challenge because I can. Well, that didn't go well. I think we give Primordium another shot though. And I do still think Awoken is probably the right choice. It's just that, again, their damage scaling isn't that great. And... I don't know. I kind of just want to do, like, Banished, because Banished is good. But, I don't know. Like, Banished would be appealing. I just don't know how much Primordium would actually contribute there. Also, again, Lazarus is pretty decent as well. Like... they've got one sweep unit, but also they've got, like, Plague Doctor, which would work pretty well with Aggressive Edible. Obviously, there's the problem of we might not see the things that we want at the same time as we're running the particular champion path. Well, let's try this again, see what happens. Morsel Maker is a thing, I guess. Sharpen is the thing. Ever consider Luna, Coven, Conduit would be good with Plinks? No. I mean, like, yes, the Conduit's fine with Plinks, but we need a lot more than that to actually, like, win a run. Yes, there are some cool things you can do with Luna and Primordium, but it's not really a clan combo I want to do. I think we're taking an aggressive edible here. We don't really have anything that majorly points us in a particular direction. Technically, the Sharpens work okay with Stalwart Snack in that they're a way to get an attack buff, but I think we're just going to take this. Interesting start. Well, I think we're taking the Whetstone. Unfortunately, neither matters for us yet, but I guess we'll take that. Also, neither of these clans has any... I was going to say, they don't have any offensive equipment. It's not entirely true, because Umbra does have Glutton's Maw, or whatever it's called. The one that allows you to chomp on enemy, or chomp on allies. Well, I will tell you right now, I was really hoping to get a Plink, which we sadly didn't get, but okay. That was not a great first turn. Yeah, also would have loved that Sharpen. I'll tell you that right now. Unfortunately, the spikes don't even help kill enemies because they always spawn the morsels in front. It'll help for the boss, but not as helpful as one might desire. Like, overall, we're at least getting decently strong. It is just also annoying. Come on. There we go. Well, we'll just play out more morsels, and there we go. And we were gonna kill the boss, no problem. It's just frustrating that we ended up taking damage on turn 1 for just not drawing one of our Plinks. That's fine. Here we are. Did we lose the Animus run? Was lurking, didn't see how it ended. Yeah, I didn't have enough power. Mostly it's that I took the trial that gives reanimate to the front enemy, and I did not have enough attacks to deal with that. But, yeah. I mean, we still had problems to overcome regardless in that run, but that was definitely a problem. So, do we want Prismal Dust? Kind of. Kind of not. I think we're not going to take it, that might be wrong. I don't think we're taking Razor Sharp here. Glimmer's a maybe, but I think we're going to greedily say no. We definitely want this. Okay. Well then. No? Also, it's annoying to have Space Prisms when we have Morsel Maker, since Morsel Maker like already overstacks the floor and makes the Space Prisms not particularly helpful. Though in general, Space Prism isn't a great card in Monster Train 2 for the most part. It has uses, but it's not great. I think we're just taking the Animus, though. Again, we have similar problems to before. But, okay. I think we leave it at that. I unfortunately can't get multi-strike on the reroll, and I would very much like multi-strike. We're at least well-suited for the next couple rings for the most part. Since we're going to have stacking HP, we have a decent level of attack coming in. And all of that jazz. Sadly can't get the collector, which is annoying. Oh, well, here we are. Yeah, not that I actually have anywhere to put the morsels for the most part. Like, I can put them there. It's not that impressive, but fine. The Animus is plenty strong for the rest of this fight, so we've got quick, we do decent damage. I guess we have space for a morsel now. We should murder the boss pretty simply, even with the spikes. Come on, there we go. Thank you for blinking the correct target. Alright, and now we just blow him up, and he dies to the spikes. How exciting. I don't think I really want to cave in. I might want the Steel Enhancer. I don't really want Steel Enhancer, though. The ultimate problem is that the Animus of Will is not going to be enough attacks to get through my problems. There are a number of ways to deal with that. Like, we could start using the Glimmer, which I probably should be taking. We could get Trample. We could get Inferno Room. We could get Jack Strips. All of those things would help mitigate some of the problems. Could also get like Furnace Tap and get more multi-strike that way. I think we're going to skip on the Steel Enhancer, but I also think I'm being maybe too greedy. We're going to go here and look for an equipment because we do have Whetstone. Okay. I do like Glutton's Maw quite a bit. So let's take that. And then let's see if we can combine it. I could take Glass Cannon. I kind of want Glass Cannon for Stalwart Snack, but I mean, this isn't the worst option available to me. Fine, let's do it. And then we make that one deployable, not the Glutton's Maw. What is in these pools that I care about? Technically, there's Smelted Treasure for the armor. Here, there's Tidal Turning. In here, there's Tome of Evergrowth, or whatever it's called. Yeah, we're just gonna skip that. Someday I'll master Great Decay. It's not a bad card, I just haven't been playing decks where it's relevant for a while. Okay. We should be okay-ish, though the Rage on Siphon is still scary. the question is, yeah, I was pretty sure you had enough HP for this, just couldn't remember for sure. I was really hoping I was going to kill him, and then I could block with the morsel. But here it is. Actually, you know what? Let's do this slightly differently. Like, we don't get the spikes this way, but I'm fine with that. And then we do a lot of damage to him right off the bat. And thus, he's eaten. Good job, Plink. I didn't hate that. Sure. Could play you there. Could also just block with you. Yeah, sure, let's just block with you. You've got the damage shield anyways, but it's not a bad idea to preserve that. Also, we're gonna kill him pretty easily. Since my Animus is well and truly a menace. Yeah, I probably should have not played you there so he'd come back top and we could have just killed him. Minor mistake, but not really anything meaningful. It's just that we could have killed him before Wyldenten. It would have been cute. Doesn't really matter. I do lose my damage shield to the spikes, but again, that is not a meaningful, reasonable concern. Come on, there we go. So we eat you so we can make room for the other one. And then live a life of true grandeur and unbounded possibility. Anyways, we eat that just for the sake of it. And then he absolutely murdered. Again, if we can get, like, Trample, we'll be in great shape. There's Furnace Tap. Do I want Furnace Tap? Kind of, except for dealing with the goddamn Titans. There are ways around the whole Titan problem. And again, to be fair, the Titan problem is specifically just we need to be able to play out the Pyrolite. And if I'm Ember draining myself to death, I can't play out the Pyrolite. I don't technically have to do that, but it is much more enjoyable because otherwise I have to last like 20 turns against the Titans, and that's just miserable. But let's take it as an option. I might take the second Morsel Maker here. Because we get rid of Primordium super quickly. And then we just have 2 Morsel Makers on the floor spawning morsels every turn. And that's not the worst. Yeah, I'll do that. Although it does mean that I need to take Ember, which is fine. Okay, we're gonna go here for reasons. That's one of them. Okay. Well, another glass cannon doesn't help. Zone of Silence Doesn't really help. And no, we're just not going to even worry about that. I will give you damage shields, though I don't know that that really helps me. Anyways, we'll see what happens. I do have problems to overcome, but so be it. Unfortunately, we are going to get a ton of Scourge cards, but... oh, these are the corruption dudes. That shouldn't matter. The question is just, do I want to set up on top floor or not? I think we do still want to set up on top floor. Because even if I'm dealing with 4 Scourge cards a turn... oh, for some reason, I thought that I had enough capacity. I don't have enough capacity. So taking the second one there, not actually helpful. My bad. Oh, well. I guess maybe we're taking capacity next, or we're dropping one of those guys. Oh, wrong order, but fine. Well, I have a lot of... I just want to generate more morsels. Is that so much to ask? Well... you're not gonna die right now, but that's fine. You at least absorb some of the corruption, which I guess is sort of helpful. Fortunately, I can't get the collector, you bastard. Yeah, this is just what my turns look like now. Right, yeah, this is why I hate this battle. I mean, also because Kel's a jerk, but I do think it's pretty dumb that if you are not set up on bot or mid floor, that your turns just start looking like this. Like, I think it's just a bit too much, because it's not particularly interesting that you don't draw new cards for the rest of the fight. Woo! Okay, but I'm pretty sure we're still good because, you know, we do 1,600 damage right here and now, and that's pretty good. Ta-da! Well, dumb as that fight is, we get out of it, no problem. Ember Cash doesn't matter to us. Gem Trove kind of maybe sort of matters, just because it is a source of damage shields. I don't really have space for the morsels, though. Kind of. Might still be worth taking. Don't love it. I will do this nonetheless. Awakening Thicket. I'm going to not take them. Maybe I should. But we're not going to. What I want is Merchant of Arms. Well, specifically what I really wanted was I wanted like Engraft and Holdover. Have not been offered Engraft, so can't see Holdover for it. But Merchant of Arms would also be appreciated. I think we're still going here though. I'll tell you right now, Iron Tongue would have been appreciated last run. Not appreciated right now, though. I mean, Fight Club is sort of okay for us. In that it lets all the morsels be meaningful attackers, which is kind of cute. But let's not, I guess. I don't know. That might have been worthwhile. We are going to do this. I'm going to do that, even though it might be a waste of gold. And then we're going to make decisions. Yeah, I kind of need you to be less costly. I mean, we'll figure things out. I think mostly it's going to come down to that I just can't really use the furnace tap, but it is an option if I absolutely need it. Also, I could just dupe it right here, which is kind of cute. I don't know what I want to dupe, though. There's nothing really that exciting. Honestly, we're gonna do this. Do I like it? No. Am I doing it? Yes. Oh, intrinsic furnace tap without perils nor mind collapse scares me. I mean, there's a lot of other ways around it. And if the Titan fight weren't so dumb, it wouldn't be an issue. Which is to say, if the Titan fight didn't require you basically to have Ember to play out the Pyrolite every turn, it wouldn't be a concern. I wish that I had the Space Prism this turn. And I know I could have put Intrinsic on the Space Prism, but it wouldn't matter if I wasn't also drawing the Morsel Maker this turn. And I did do this in the wrong order, but that's fine. Okay, have a bunch of morsels, I guess. No, you bastard. Well, enjoy your morsels, my friend. Sadly can't get the collector. Doing what we can. Yeah. Alright, we're not gonna do it quite like that. Because I expected that this would be the issue, is that I then sap my dudes and I'm not killing the backliner. Okay, we're going to do this, and I guess you're going to get that, and then we'll just spread around some of those morsels, and you may as well get extra attack, because why not? But unfortunately, with all the reanimate that these guys have, I do actually need my backliners to be attacking, or I need the spikes from the sharpen, which we can now actually do. I would have to stop using the Gem Trove unless I use Aquats, which we're going to use Aquats. And then my dude on mid-floor is still surviving, so, you know, here we are. Okay. I am taking 1 damage, which I could have avoided, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm mostly just trying to make sure that I have enough defense to deal with all of his reanimate, which I suspect will be okay on. Given that we do a lot of damage and we have sort of a lot of attacks. Not all of them are particularly impressive, but we do have them. You know what? You can go there. Who cares? And he's already down to the reanimate, and we got a lot of HP, and we got some damage shields, and we got spikes, and he dies real quickly. Again, this isn't necessarily good enough for the long term, but we're working on it. We're working on it. Void Binding's cool, but we're not going to take it. We're not going to take those. I kind of want to go for Merchant of Trinkets. We are going to go for Merchant of Arms, and we're looking for a couple specific things. That is not any of them. Although Hall of Mirrors, kind of interesting. Not interesting enough, though. Nope, that's not what we wanted. Boiler Room is almost what we want. I mean, Boiler Room sort of does work. It's just not exactly what we want. I don't know, I don't really want to do Boiler Room. Even though it maybe kind of sort of could work for us, but it's really not what we want. Okay, we're gonna go here, figure things out. Okay. I have to decide what I'm doing after this. Oh, whoops, wrong order. It doesn't really matter, but we still should do it in the correct order. But anyways, I don't know what upgrade I'm taking here. Yeah, we don't really need to play out the Furnace tab. Kind of want to take Ember, so I have more deployment Ember, but I also kind of want to take Capacity so we can put the Morsel Maker on the floor. I don't think that really matters, especially in a world where I have Gem Troves and I'm generating more morsels anyways. But I don't know. Here we are. I didn't really take into account that you guys are getting a bunch of damage shields, but I don't think that matters to me a whole ton. Yeah, I think we're probably taking Ember after this, even though it does have a multitude of problems. But so does everything in our life, frankly. Okay, at least we're knocking out for damage shields before you get a bunch more damage shields. But we should be good enough to kill all these guys. Boiler Room would have been really cool if it counted when I chomp morsels. But they count as eaten, not count as killed. If I were killing like an imp or a tomb or something that is not a morsel, then it would work. But sadly, it just wouldn't work with the morsels. Yeah, we'll just do this rather than doing the other gem throws. I could also sort of just skip on having this morsel maker and just use 2 gem troves every turn. I don't think that really matters, though. Okay, unfortunately, this is a little worse. Yeah, because you do survive. Come on, hit the damage shield. Damn you, you jerk. Well, I can play out some more morsels. It doesn't really change things, though. Alright, take a not small amount of damage, unfortunately, because you've got a bunch of rage. It's at least less damage since a tiny bit of rage falls off, but I still have to take the hit. Luckily, it's at least only 1 hit. And that's like the only damage I've taken so far, but it's not ideal. Well, so be it. Again, this isn't really the part where I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about later, even though I think we're probably in pretty good shape. And if I get certain things at the Merchant of Arms, we could be in fabulous shape. But we'll see what's offered. Or again, if I could just get in Graft, I would be happy about that. You know what? Fuck it. We're taking another Furnace Tap. We're taking this. Should I? No, probably not. But we have done so. Go in here. Okay, aggressive edible 3. What do you got for me? Nope. I mean, technically, could be vaguely useful in the Titans, but not really what we need. The amount this is likely to matter is low, but we're going to do it anyways. Sure, we'll do that. Alright, let's see what happens. The amalgams are not what I want to see, but we'll see what we can do. I think we're staying on bottom floor, and we're just kind of going to leak the first one. I do at least have enough Ember to play out all those guys right now. The Prayer Stone is sort of a problem. Well, let's see what happens. Alright, well, Primordium died too early, which isn't ideal. But I at least have 6 attacks, and I'm pretty strong. So that's something. I can't play anything for a while, but, you know, we're working on it. I'll take a little bit of damage, but I'm at least strong enough that it's not too big a deal. I can finally play one card a turn now. I mean, soon we'll be able to play out other things, but also, it doesn't matter because the boss is here. There we go. Anyways, we're strong enough to get the kill. We barely took any damage from this, so it works out. It was a necessary evil. Ta-da! That's why we took the Furnace Taps. Oh, man. We're skipping that. I was excited for a moment because I thought it was in Graft, but no, it's just Ensnare. Ensnare, honestly, not the worst thing for us, but we are going to skip it anyways. And then we're going here. I will take Jack Strips. We are not going to take Lightstone Casing because we're not at the right shop for that. Okay. Alright. Spell Sanctum, you say? What a world. Yeah. So, here's the deal. Well, the only time when Spell Sanctum is useful... I mean, Spell Sanctum is useful other times. Unfortunately, it's not enough to get the gem tropes to a playable point. But... that's maybe still okay. But we'll see how this goes. I have not decided exactly what we're doing here. Well, it would have been much more useful if it didn't cost 3 Deployment Ember. I mean, yes, but it's also a strong effect. And sort of worth being that cost. Like, yeah, it's a little unwieldy as is, but if it were any less than that, it would be an easy snap pick very often. It's like, I get why it costs what it does. I don't know. I don't know that duping anything here really matters to me. So, like, I could do this. Which is probably wrong. What I really wish is that the gem trope cost less. No, that's fuck it. I don't know. There we go. Here we are. So, that goes there. You go there. And then I don't have enough Ember for these things. Oh well. Okay, so we need to block with you. And then we're going to do a lot of damage in return. The problem is, I'm still not necessarily in great shape for the Titans. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so we at least have some damage shields and yada yada yada. Here we are. And the Jack troops take care of a lot of the enemies here, and that's just life. Doesn't matter that those guys get stronger, they do not matter. The problem is I think I probably can't use all the furnace taps in the Titan fight. We can probably use one of them, but I don't know. We'll figure out what happens. But without having defense in the Titan fight, we're going to have issues. I mean, I could put the morsel maker up front instead, but then I don't have morsels to consume, and that has its own problems. We'll see. If I could have gotten the gem trope down to costing 0, that would be real nice. Or if I had taken the grovel and made that my holdover thing. Which I would have were that offered when we had picked up the gem trope. Oh, I forgot to eat my morsel that turn. Whoops. And now I can't eat my morsel. How dare you? You goddamn son of a bitch. I mean, it doesn't matter. We get the kill here. With our 13 attacks. Oh, unfortunately, those 13 attacks basically don't matter against the Titans because the Titan fight is dumb. I mean, it matters to some degree, but, like, just not that helpful. Yeah, again, I think I mostly need to avoid playing out the furnace taps because I do need the defense more than anything. Could also put you in front. That is technically an option, I suppose. Alright, so. You know what? Let's try it this way, see what happens. I don't like how much HP you lose right at the beginning, though. That is concerning. But I do have this. So I can do that. So we're gonna do that, so then we can damage shield the morsel. Yeah, I can kill you guys like that. I actually think it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we'll do that. That's fine. Anyways, we're largely taking savagery down already. Like, the defense is the bigger problem for us. Yeah. I have all the Scourge cards I can't deal with. We know. We know. I'm at least gaining some stats each turn. But I am also taking a lot of damage each turn, which is concerning. That helps. Though, do I want that in front to block stuff? I think so. Because either that or I put it in back and then I actually get to eat it and get the damage shield, but it's basically as good, but also prevents me from having to deal with the the corruption for 1 turn. Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter if I Ember Drain myself more at this point, basically. I mean, technically, maybe I shouldn't, but that's fine. We have taken down Savagery and Entropy. We're just waiting for Dominion to die, so... With their 7 attacks, we're pretty good. We are bleeding out health constantly, but, you know, what are we going to do about that? Okay, we killed off the healer, so Savagery and Entropy aren't healing anymore. We're basically just waiting for Dominion to die. Well, our dude dies now, but that should be fine. Because Dominion should be in range now where they're going to die this turn. Yep. And so we just reduce the damage coming a little bit. And we play out some delicious morsels. How exciting. Just for the sake of it. Enjoy. Yeah. There we go. Ta-da! Alright. Bit of a mess. We got there. Getting the Spell Sanctum was really helpful. Although, again, it would have been way better if we were able to still play out the Gem Troves. Ended up working out, though. We were getting enough stats that we were able to avoid it. Also, I could have played one of the Morsel Makers in front if I had to, which would have blocked at least a little bit of damage, but... Anyways, it was close, but we made it, and that is the important part. Okay, so bear with me for one moment, and then we'll record what we use, because we have to take out all the stuff we used for Wyldenten before we died. Alas. Yeah, unfortunately, Primordium is proving to be a little awkward. Though, I can take the sweep units if they show up on the next 2 runs, which is maybe going to help. We'll see what happens. This was definitely not the strongest. This wasn't even superfood. This was aggressive edible. I was going to say this wasn't the strongest superfood run, but it wasn't superfood. So, you know. And we did Aquaths, which vaguely helped. We had Animus of Will. And Morsel Maker. For spells, we had Space Prism, which sort of mattered, largely was irrelevant. Furnace Tap, Gem Trove. I think those were all the spells. Okay. And then we had Spell Sanctum. And then Gluttons, Ma, and Glass Cannon. Okay. Oh, and I didn't even have that on screen this whole time. My bad. Either way. There we go. Stupid Primordium Path is such a long name that was going off screen a little bit. Okay, that was a bit of an awkward run, but we didn't use up anything like too wildly important. So let's swap Pyres and see what we're offered. Obviously, Pyre Savagery would be pretty solid. We probably want that on one of these runs. Time Father is also maybe useful. Herzls is also kind of okay, because it makes it easier for us to like use an expensive equipment at the start, or multiple expensive equipment. Yeah, I don't know. Let's do Herzl's Horde, I guess, see what we're offered. Okay, Prismal Dust is pretty nice. I don't care in the slightest about Crucible Warden. And we can take either offering. Okay. Well, the Prismal Dust definitely makes me lean towards Superfood. But on the other hand, it might be overkill with Superfood. Since later on, we're naturally going to be getting damage shields anyways. Since I don't have the ability to cross path on Superfood, I just have to take what's offered. Which is to say that I have to go to rank 3 Superfood, so we do just start with damage shields. Which is maybe fine. Maybe it makes me want to do Stalwart Snack instead. I will also say Stalwart Snack is the one that I'm more concerned about. So it would be nice to do it earlier. As an aside, Stalwart Snack with Savagery Pyre is kind of cute. It's awkward, but there are worlds where you can let Primordium get some of the kills, and then he gets permanent attack, and then he gets to pass on that permanent attack to what's eating him, and that's pretty cute. But I think we're just going to do Stalwart Snack here. Maybe wrong, but here we are. Well, I was hoping for like Chain of Gems. That's fine. We're going to take Ancient Pyre Tap, I think. Yeah, fine. Okay. Hopefully we just get some Plinks on turn 1 this time. Well, I get that at least. I guess we'll thin the herd a little bit. Just annoying. At least we're only taking damage from one of them this time. It's just that, like, the Plinks make up a good chunk of my starting deck. It's not that unreasonable to hope for them to cooperate. Whatever, we'll do that. Okay, so you're already dying. Oh, and we can block there, because you don't do enough damage to kill it. I'll do that so you lifesteal that back. And then, you know what? Have another damage shield. Like, we're going to have enough damage shields that I don't really need to optimize the Prismal Dust. Whatever. We're not a particularly important or useful turn, but that's fine. We should murder the boss pretty easily. We're not, like, insanely strong here, but we've got 12 damage shields. We can take down Astral without any problem here. Ta-da! Okay. So, we definitely don't want to take Perils. We can't take Space Prism. Might be worth taking Mind Collapse. We're up against Entropy again. Yeah, I mean, like, Mind Collapse... I really don't take Mind Collapse that often in Monster Train 2. I take it a lot in Monster Train 1, but I take it almost never in Monster Train 2. It's fine. I think we're gonna skip. Alright. So, pretty confident we want Razor Sharp Edge here. The only problem is that Primordium doesn't have a lot of HP, but we can sort of make do. Regardless, we'll take the Razor Sharp, and we'll figure it out from there. He does get more HP as you go to rank 3. He goes to 10-10. I would love to go to the Merchant of Steel, but I think what we need to do is go here, look for one of the sweep units, go here afterwards, pick up any old equipment. I mean, there's a lot of good things that could be on offer. Okay. Well, Shattered Shell it is. I mean, I kind of want, like, Intrinsic for this, but I'll take Holdover. And I'm willing to just leave that for now. I actually maybe still want to use the Crucible Warden right now. Just because the Shattered Shell is going to suffer into the boss. Thanks to the spikes. So I'm happy for him to just go here and start murdering. Yeah, we'll just buff our attack. Well, we're gonna do that, because I don't want to live a life where we don't get collectors. I just cannot abide that. Okay, I'll let you block a little bit. And I could be using Ancient Pyro Tap, but it just doesn't feel necessary to do so. So it feels better to just save the Pyre HP if I can. Okay, I don't have that many damage shields, but turns out it's fine. I still do a lot of damage per hit. At least for this stage of the game. I could take another Prismal Dust. Yeah, I guess I'm willing to. And then we're gonna skip on those. And then we're going here. I mean, I would like to go to the Merchant of Magic looking for, like, ways to make the Prismal Dust better. Oh well, we're not doing that. Well, Old Growth would be cute if it mattered, but I have no way to heal my dude. I did pass on the Glimmer. Stoic Plate Mail does work. Actually, no, because it does silence his Eaton trigger. Because that is specifically a thing. Could take the engine upgrade for use with, like, the Prismal Dust. I might do that, honestly. Mostly doesn't matter to me, but might be nice. It's just that it is a chunk of gold to spend on that. And so if I take that and I re-rolled, that's 115. Leaves me with 220 left, which is still pretty decent. I just don't know that I really care about the engine upgrade. Sure, it's very rare that I care about that. Well, Hall of Mirrors is not what I want to see here. We do have Swift Steel Dagger available. I didn't really want that, but I kind of just want anything that increases Primordium's attack. Fine. Like, I'll probably drop it later, but at the moment, so be it. Also, I forgot that we have Herzls, which means that deployment is less costly. Boiler Room is also kind of cute. Mostly doesn't matter for us, though. Bosses start with a mute. Friendly units gain stuff. Non-champion units gain stats. I'm just gonna do this. The mute is vaguely helpful for me. In just a lot of ways. Yeah. Well, let's try setting up like this. Well, not what I was hoping for, but that's fine. Oh, and I did kind of forget that I could have done Ancient Pyre Tap. Which is to say that I could have done the damage shields first, and then played out the Plink at 0 Ember, and that still would have worked, but I didn't. Well, here we are. Don't have a ton of defense, especially because my sweeper is not the one who has quick, unfortunately. Oh, you don't have enough capacity there because reasons. I already forgot. Yeah, it wasn't actually worth doing all those. I end up sapping myself more than it really helps. Alright, let's burn a little bit of HP. I don't know. I do think that I probably still need to be feeding Primordium to the Warden. Or I need to give you Quick. Oh, and you're dying because you have Quick, and so you attack into that first like an idiot. Unhelpful. Well, we'll see how this goes. But I do think that I probably need to do this differently. I mean, I can block a little bit with you. And, like, you do a chunk of damage here, but not enough damage. Especially as you lose the damage shield to that guy. Oops, didn't mean to spend that HP. Like, I survived this. I do take a chunk of damage, though. I mean, it's fine. We'll leave it. It's unfortunate that he survives as such. If I had used one more Plink, I could have gotten him down to 1 HP, but not enough. Had I been just using the Ancient Pyre Tap more earlier in the fight, I could have prevented that, but I didn't know. I didn't know. And I didn't know. The Old Growth is kind of cute. Kind of want to take it. But we're not going to. Can't take Animus of Will. Could take Morsel Master. Don't want to take Morsel Master. Not going to take Animus of Speed. I think we just take draw here. Maybe we take Ember. You know what? We're taking Ember. And then I guess we're going here. Okay. I wish that you had more HP, Primordium. And I know we were offered Old Growth, but it just doesn't really help us at the moment. We are not taking those. We're just not. Yeah, we're doing this because it does make my life better. That's not enough, though. I mean, that helps, but I need way more than that for the future. Alternatively, I just hold out for, like, multi-strike. But that's a problem. Okay. Regardless, I guess we're doing this. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I just, like, I don't have nearly enough. Like, I just don't do enough damage. I don't have enough attack scaling. It's an issue. I don't know. Goes there, I guess. Who cares? And I can't play that there because I didn't plan this out correctly. Great. Love it. So helpful. But I didn't want to not be on bottom floor because then I have to deal with all the Scourge dudes. But turns out, maybe still a problem. And if Primordium had more HP, then I could... Then I could be using the Razor Sharp on him more. But he doesn't, and that's an issue. Okay, you are dead. God, I've taken just a lot of damage. I take a lot of damage all the time right now, which is not a great sign. But we're trying to stabilize. See what we can do. It ain't going great. Well, the Shroud Spike doesn't help. Neither do the other two. I mean, the Kindle kind of helps, but... I don't know, fine, I'll take the Kindle. It doesn't, like, do anything right now. Awakening Thicket is one of the things that I wanted, though. Okay. Overgrowth Carapace, I would love if I could use it, but I kind of can't now. Because I just don't have the capacity for it, but that would be really helpful if I could. I would love to see Stasis Crystal here. Would be another option. Meat Shield technically is an option, too. But let's reroll. Could technically take Equalizing Rings here. It's not wildly helpful, though. Alright, well, here's some things. Let's thin the deck a little bit. Let's get rid of one of you guys. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of... I think that's enough. Alright, let's see how this goes. Yeah, I don't really want the corruption, but fine. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. Well, that's fine. I was trying to avoid getting corruption on the Shatter Shell, but it honestly shouldn't matter, because part of the whole point of doing this is that Primordium is going to start passing on a whole bunch of HP. And so it shouldn't really matter that we're getting a little bit of corruption here. Okay. Yeah, so now you have 23 HP, and also that means that we can do the Razor Sharp Edge on you every turn now instead, which dramatically increases our situation. Unfortunately, can't get the Collector. Why would we ever be able to get Collectors? I mean, we're starting to stabilize. I really need to, like, dupe the Razor Sharp, though. Or do other things. I just do not have nearly enough attack scaling. I mean, it's getting improved now that we can actually, like, feast upon sweet, beautiful stat gains for many a turn, but it's not great. And at least we're not up against Savagery. Like, our slow start would be pretty bad into Savagery. Quoto is muted for 3 turns, so it doesn't actually lose any Titan skin for a little while. Does not matter. Not really a concern. Oh no! He doesn't lose Titan skin! So scary! We'll just have to beat him to death somehow. I'm still at pretty low life after the last couple bad fights. Okay, do we want Feast? Probably yes. Yeah, do think we want Feast. Do we want these? No. There's a world where we might use Bramble Ash for superfood. It's unlikely, but it is possible. Unfortunately, you are full up. But we're going here. Okay, so that could still take an upgrade. I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have left gold for re-rolling in case I wanted to do, like, Spell Chain or Intrinsic on the Razor Sharp. But I got carried away, and the defense is still helpful for us. It's just not as helpful as I'm making it out to be. But so be it. We'll see what we can do. I really need more draw. I need more draw. I mean, I need a lot of things, but in particular, draw would be fairly appreciated right now. I mean, I'd love to give the damage shields. I care way more about making Primordium strong right now, though. Unfortunately, I really need to draw the feast, but we should draw the feast here. Yeah, because now we can greatly increase my attack immediately. Oh, I should have played out that first. It's fine. We're doing alright. We kill the dudes before they attack, we have a bunch of damage shields, and our damage scaling has more or less begun. And because we've got quick and sweep, we should be perfectly fine against the Kale situation. Okay. Yeah, we have largely gotten to a point where we stabilize. Like, our Shattered Shell is looking good. I still would love to get, like, Stasis Crystal. That would be appealing. Kind of. Like, the only problem with Stasis Crystal is that we wouldn't be able to target him with the Razor Shark. But at the rate it's currently happening, that doesn't matter. He'd be gaining 20 each turn instead of 12 and -2, as it currently is going. It also might block Feast, and now that I think about it. But, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Regardless, we at least smash through Kale, no problem, which is substantially better than it was going. Does not matter that Kale is healing for about 100 a turn. Not even close. Okay, so we cannot take Glutton's Maw. We cannot take Furnace Tap. We could take Adaptive Mutation. Don't think we want Adaptive Mutation, though it is interesting to consider. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We will take Draw. Yeah, we're going here, and we'll figure things out. So we're definitely taking Silver Snack 3, which also means he has more HP, and a little bit more attack now. Way late on the Bloodthirsty Blade. I think we're going to skip the Bloodthirsty Blade. Come on out, cat. Yeah, here you go. I think we're skipping the Bloodthirsty Blade. I think it's just too late for it to really be exciting for us, and I'd like to save it for the third run if possible. Happily would have taken that before. It still might be useful for us, and technically there's a world where what we can do is we, like, get a bunch of kills with the Shattered Shell with it, and then in later fights we use it on Primordium instead, and that's kind of cute. Nonetheless, it's not what's happening, I guess. Okay. It's really not what I was hoping to see. So, like, what I could do is I could take Overgrowth Carapace, fuse it to the Swift Steel Dagger, and then Primordium is passing on a bunch more stats. It's not that exciting for me, though. Like, that's not my main problem. But I think probably we're going to do it. I could leave it for the third run, but whatever, we're just going to do this. And then we're gonna dupe the Razor Shark, because it's a shame I don't have any other upgrade on it, but I need things. I need attack scaling. And this is how we scale attack, I guess. Well, yeah, this is not what I wanted to see. I think we have to set up on at least mid-floor. It's like, just everything is awful. And we gave the damage shields to him so that he can maybe absorb some of the amalgam damage for us. Is it great? No. But is it what we're going to do? Yes. God, I'm just taking a lot of damage here, though. Well, we'll see if this works. I probably have to set up on top floor, because I just don't scale up all that quickly. Yeah, because, like, even now, it's not enough to get the kill. Although I could, like, play the root seeds, which helps. Yeah, I mean, let's try top floor, see what that looks like. But this is what I was worried about. Yeah. I mean, we're taking a lot of damage from this fight, I think. We'll see what happens. See what we can do. Okay. Alternatively, I could have done things in a different way and played out the Prismal Dust there, which might have been useful. Classic Umbra, we have all the attack and suddenly we don't have enough attack. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I knew this was a problem. This is what I've been, like, working towards from the beginning. Like, yeah, we didn't have Savagery Titan to deal with, but still concerning. Okay, unfortunately we take the amalgam damage, and then he still hits us twice, which is very bad. Okay, but we are strong enough that we can now get kills, so that's something. Yeah, maybe should have done this differently, but we're gonna do that. I think maybe I needed more damage shields. Because I really need you not to die. Unfortunately, I am just bleeding out pretty endlessly. Like, maybe it is better for me to be on mid-floor, but I lose so much health for the like, the first heavy that we lose. And so I don't think that's reasonable at all. But I also don't know if I survive this fight as is, just because there's so many amalgams. I mean, I should. It'd be nice if you were able to kill that amalgam for me, but it doesn't look like that's a plausible situation. Well, we're going to survive, just in incredibly bad shape, which means that I don't know if we're going to beat the Titans like this. But this is what we were worried about. Alright, well, my pathing decisions have been chosen for me, unfortunately. Which, again, is part of what I dislike about the Titans, is that I have one bad fight, and therefore I don't get to choose how I route on the final ring. So, that's cool. Sure, I'll take another feast, I guess. Well, I guess I'm going here. Which is not incredibly helpful. If I could go to the Merchant of Magic, I could maybe look to do holdover on the Restoring Retreat. But I can't. I maybe still take it, though. You know what? We'll still take it. Maybe it saves me some damage here and there. That might be the difference between winning and or losing. Not helpful. Okay. I don't know that I care about the Cursed Vines. It's an artifact that I, in general, like. Though, again, it's less helpful in Monster Train 2. Still good, though. But I think we skip. Okay. Don't think that mostly matters. Look at us go. Okay. So, now we have options. And I think it's the Prismal Dust that we're going to dupe here. It's either that or we're duping the Shield Steward. Which is also entirely plausible, dumb as it sounds. You know what? Yeah. Okay, well, here we are. Look at us go. We'll see what we can do. I should be able to beat this fight, no problem. Like, that's not what I'm worried about. What I am worried about is, like, literally every other thing. He's so big. I mean, it doesn't matter where I play that, really, so. I want to play other Calcified Ember, but honestly, we're just not going to. Because I am worried about losing HP. I think we'll be okay. I think I'll be able to make this work. But there are worries to be had. Again, this is also why I would have enjoyed Multi-Strike a long time ago, because it would have greatly enhanced my damage output, but here we are. At least we can suddenly boost our power fairly substantially, as we just feast away. It doesn't matter that I'm buffing these guys. That it does not matter. Anyways, we should be sorted for basically the rest of this fight. Because we're already up to like 400 attack. And that's mostly what matters. Yeah, so if we do the feast right now, it doesn't actually help because you're muting him like an asshole. And so there's no point in doing the feast right now, but that's fine. We didn't need it. And now we're up to like 500 some attack. We should be able to wipe every wave from here on out. And so then the only concern is defense, basically. Which, you know, might lead to one thinking I should play the Prismal Dust. So be it. I want to get rid of the Calcified Ember. And we should be fine. We got a bunch of damage shields still. We're also more than fine to do that. Wrong order, but that's okay. Well, again, this fight is solved. It's just a matter of if we beat the Titans, and I think we can. If I had Spell Chain on the Restoring Retreat, I would happily bring him all the way down here to win on bottom 4, but I do not. And if I had done that, I would have ended up on mid floor, just let all the guys on top floor leak, and that would have been bad. Yeah, I ended up with so much HP. It's just getting an increasing amount from Primordium every turn. And that's pretty cute. Okay, now for the fight that matters. Also, I will say Ancient Pyre Tap has been fucking worthless for us basically the entire run. Largely what I expected. Not what I'd hoped for, but largely what I expected. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Oh, and I forgot that you're muted for a couple turns, which is vaguely helpful and vaguely not. Because it does mean that it takes longer for me to do the Pyrolites. Which is maybe an issue. Well, we'll see what happens. I can't avoid that. I think we're still in effective range, but we'll find out. Okay. I don't love just seeing my HP just bleed out turn after turn. But we are so far blocking Savagery's damage, which is a huge, huge benefit. Like, I think it will be okay, although annoyingly you survive. Sure, we'll do that, and then we do that. Maybe we should be doing the root seed so that we get to, like, the restoring retreat and the damage shields faster. Yeah, unfortunately you're dying, which means that I do take 8 damage here, which is not tenable. Damn it. Well, like, I can still probably do it, it's just that, like, I needed to not have done the restoring retreat. Well, there's a lot of things. I needed to have more damage shields, basically. Okay, we'll see what we can do. There's also maybe other ways I can do things. We'll figure it out. I don't know. It's just rough, but I think I can do it. But yeah, taking so much damage on that one ring really fucked us. Out of curiosity, we're gonna see how this goes. I don't want to do the restoring retreat, so let's not do it, see what happens. Oh, I should have done the root seeds first. Well, here we are. Not a particularly helpful turn for either of those. And to be fair, I could play out the Kindle earlier in the fight, so I don't have to see it on as many of these random turns. I'm just getting so low on HP that I don't know that it matters. Yeah, like if you weren't dying here, I would be able to win. Because like I'd go down to 5, but then I play out the Pyrelite, which has us do essentially 300 for the turn. Yeah, so as long as I can survive this one turn, we can do it. Because then he goes down bottom floor, we have enough damage to kill. Basically. Let's try again. It basically comes down to I just need to generate slightly more damage shields, which should be doable. I could also probably burn a little bit of HP if I have to. Okay, we're gonna do that, even though if it just lined up on the right turn, that would be incredibly helpful. Oh, I don't know. We're getting real fiddly here, but I would like to win this run. Doing what we can. Life is pain. Wish I had that sting next turn. I'm just gonna do that and not play with the Razor Sharp. Everything is a little awkward, unfortunately. Honestly, just kill you. We need to do that. Well, I need you not to die, but I also need you not to die. I don't know if I can afford to do the root seeds now or not. I kind of want to because they'll draw me into things faster, but I think we're okay not doing it since I prepared him for this coming turn. And I basically just need to survive one more cycle. Yeah, I don't actually need to do the Razor Sharp. So we're not going to. All I really need to do is be playing out the Pyrelite and get the damage shields. That's all that I really, truly need in my life. Yeah, because you're going to die, basically. And I have just enough HP that I can take one more hit on you. And so, like, yeah, you're going to be somewhat scary. Actually, we just killed now. I was going to say, it looks scary in that we would need to survive one more turn, but he would generate the Pyrelite for us, and then we'd use the Pyrelite next turn to kill him before he attacks. Ends up not mattering. We don't have but one, and then we get the kill. And we've done it. It was really awkward. But that's why we gave so many damage shields and defense to our chaff units and why we duped the stupid train steward. Ugh. Not a good run. Not particularly great. Now we still have to do superfood, which, like, shouldn't be that bad, but it is somewhat contingent upon seeing the right things. Because, like, ideally we get the other sweep unit, and then, like, if we can get... I mean, there's just a lot of things that'd be helpful. The problem is we don't have a lot of like damage scaling available to us. So that's a problem. We'll see what we end up seeing, I guess. Like, there is still perils available to us. There's Void Binding. We could see Bloodthirsty Blade would be really good. If we could get Furnace Tap, or, except we already used Furnace Tap. If we could get Void Armament for the Multi-Strike. Like, all of those would be really helpful. Alternatively, we don't technically need to see the Sweep unit. We could also get, like, Furnace Tap. Not Furnace Tap. Iron Tongue and pass on Sweep that way. Point is, there are a number of things we can do, but, like, these have not been clean, easy situations. Which is sort of what I was expecting from Primordium, just because, again, he's a very powerful champion, but when you have to limit yourself so heavily, it gets way more awkward. Like, Awoken in general does not have that great of damage scaling in Monster Train 2. And so to spread out that meager damage scaling, they've got decent units, but if you can't scale them up to kill anything, it doesn't help. Anyways, this was Stalwart Snack, and we had Herzls. For units, we had should be Crucible Warden, which did end up mattering, even though we never were feeding him morsels. And then we had Shattered Shell. And that should be all the units. For the spells, we had Feast and Kindle and Prismal Dust and Sting and Razor Sharp Edge. We used up a lot of things on this. And then we had Restoring Retreat, which ended up not really being that helpful. We took it as a bit of a panic in case it would have bought us like one more turn against the Titans. Ended up not really helping, but fine. And then we had Engine Upgrade. Oops. And Awakening Thicket. We used up a lot of things on this one. At least comparatively to the prior run. And then we had Swift Steel Dagger, which again was sad to use because it wasn't like a good source of attack scaling, but it gave us 15 attack every turn, or, you know, an increasing amount because we were giving it to Primordium. And we needed it. It just felt bad. But here we are. And then we had Old Growth. Is Old Growth one word or two in this game? One word. Okay. Yeah, I think that was everything. Yeah, bit of a mess. But, so be it. Regardless, that's where we're stopping for the night because it's late and, you know, I need to eat and do other things like sleep at some point. So, that's what we're doing. We'll pick up tomorrow with more Primordium. We'll tackle Superfood and hopefully it goes smoothly. Like, there's a very reasonable world where it goes incredibly smoothly. There's also, unfortunately, a very plausible world where it goes as bad or worse than this run did. But we'll see what happens. It's just like, if we start with Perils or Void Binding, particularly Perils and Void Binding, and like Void Armament, would be fabulous. There's also, you know, it could go well. I'm worried it won't, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, rambling aside, have a nice night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Thanks for hanging out.